FUNDA Greatness. Engage, inspire, motivate, and empower millions of children every day, supporting you, the adult, to unlock your child's full potential so that they can achieve greatness at home, school, and in life.
Your child can achieve greatness. What is greatness? What is your child's full potential? There's only one way to find out. It's okay to not follow the crowd. It's okay to be different. Who cares what others think? You only have one life. Live it. Do what others refuse to do.
Making a positive difference to children's lives every day.
Hello, Kieran here, the founder of FUNDA. How are we today on this sunny, glorious day? It's a fantastic day outside, and whether you're watching this show in the sun, whether you're out with the kids, just stop for a little minute, because it's our job to inspire you parents and you children out there, because I've got a special guest on the show this morning called Craig Heap. He will be on soon. I'm going to be introducing him, and he's raring to go. He's backstage. He's waiting. He's rocking. There's a little peep of him. He's going to be coming on, and I'm so excited. He's the funniest guy, the most passionate. If you think I'm passionate, then Craig Heap is really passionate. So I'm going to get started with this quick presentation. Hello to all the people watching on YouTube. Hello to the people watching on Facebook. And if you watch this show back later tonight with a coffee or tomorrow, whenever it might be, I hope that you enjoy it. And just remember to comment below with your questions, and I will get back to you, my team, and so will Craig, who is a friend. I know him really well. He's from brilliant Burnley, which is the last place God built. And pretty much here, we're going to crack on, and I'm going to show you a quick presentation to start things off. So we're on episode 4 of the FUNDA Greatness podcast. This show will be turned into a podcast and hopefully reach out to lots and lots of children worldwide online. My name's Kieran. I'm the founder of FUNDA, and it's always good to start off with, what are you grateful for today? So I'm grateful for my family, because they are my rock, my 2 boys. They're awesome, and I wouldn't be sat here right now if it wasn't for them. Thanks to all our FUNDA-loving children and families out there who are stuck at home in lockdown, taking part in all our learning challenges. And shout out to these special children here, Victoria and Donna McNeil, who's pretty much doing all this work at home with your children, entertaining you guys at home. So thanks for that. And thanks to all our teachers on the front line who are still stuck in school, making a difference every day. So here goes. Here's what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn all the different things about what it takes to inspire your children to achieve greatness. And I've got Craig Heap, the Olympic gymnast. Before I bring him onto the show, I just want you to watch this short video, which is pretty cool. Take a look at this quick video. Here goes. I'm going to get this up now. It's going to come on, and let's go.
Two words about men's all-around qualification. Will Kohai Uchimura win his 5th all-around title? I think so. He topped qualification with a massive 92 points. The rest of the medals for the other guys. Pass it off. Are you ready? Come on. Let's go.
FUNDA Greatness. Engage, inspire, motivate, and empower millions of children every day, supporting you, the adult, to unlock your child's full potential so that they can achieve greatness at home, school, and in life.
Your child can achieve.
Right, let's get on with it. Craig's here. Hi, Craig. How are we doing this morning?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. Love the shout out to Burnley. It definitely was the last place God made. It is a fantastic place. I'm back in the north. Well, I'm up in the northeast now. This is where I've set up my gymnastics centre. But I come back home quite a lot. to see my family. Obviously not at the moment, so I'm dying to get back there. And we have been talking before this about a really exciting project that we might be working on together. So yeah, hope you guys are all well and staying safe. Even put a new T-shirt on for you today, Kieran. How's that, mate? You like that?
Fresh off the printers, that one, Craig.
It is, mate. It is.
Good to see you. So basically, we're not worried about how many people are watching this because our parents will watch this back. We send it out. So thanks, Craig. It's great to see you. And thanks for being on the show. And we haven't got long because I know you've got a call to Dubai. We're not too posh for you anymore. So, you know, you're too busy nowadays. You've got a big call to Dubai. But really, I know you've commentated on BBC. I'm going to talk to you about your story. But basically, before we start, I'm going to get you off the cuff. Is pretty much your journey so far. So what's your journey in a nutshell? And I know that's tough.
Well, in a nutshell, well, good job we've got nearly an hour. So I grew up on my parents' farm in Burnley in Lancashire, near Ridley Hollows, actually. So it's in that area. And when I was about 9 years of age, I was watching my sister doing gymnastics. And I think, you know, this links to all the values that you talk about. We all need that role model. We all need that inspiration. And mine in the early days was my sister. So she used to do gymnastics down at the Thompson Centre, not there anymore. And so I remember going along to watch, and the coach was like, no, you can't come in here. I'm in my gym now, so you can see how cool all the things are. And so as a young 9-year-old, I was like, what, you're not going to let me go in there? No. So I remember being put on the balcony and up there with the other mums and dads, brothers and sisters. And I remember looking over the top of the balcony and thinking, wow, how cool is that? You know, what the human body can do. Mainly the fact that my sister could do backflips and I couldn't. And I think there's always that sibling rivalry in it. So whether they're older or younger, you always want to be the better one. And so I remember watching and I'm thinking, well, it's full of girls. So I'm not going in there. I'm certainly not wearing a leotard. So I started doing gymnastics around the house, diving over the sofa, jumping up down my parents' bed. The cool thing about the farm was we had a hay loft. And I used to put bales of hay and straw up there and dive off the hay and straw. And it was like making my own little adventure land. But then one day, my mum's like, you know what? I'm sick of you wrecking the furniture. Get down to the gym. So that's really how my journey in gymnastics started. And I guess if I'd gone to the gym that day to watch my sister, my life would have been totally different. And I think that's maybe a skill set that we all need to learn, is that confidence. You talked on the intro, I was listening about, we're not all the same. We all need to dare to be that little bit different. Mm-hmm. So I got to the gym. It wasn't to go to the Olympic Games at all. The aim then was to do a backflip because I thought it might impress the girls, believe it or not. And then I was into all sport in school. I didn't really enjoy school that much. I'm a practical person. So if it's woodwork, metalwork, PE, I'm all over it. So I remember I was in the basketball team, football team, athletics team, you name it, I was in it. And I sort of decided whichever sport I got my first GB kit for, that's the sport I'd commit to. Yep. Because I know the FUNDA values are all about, you know, we need to find something we're good at. So we try lots of different things and then we sort of hone those skills in. And this is a bit like school. And then we taper that and that becomes greatness. So I thought, right, well, I'm doing well at this. I'm going to carry on my gymnastics. I still had to work on the farm when I left school. I was training in Manchester every day because the gym there was slightly better. And then when I was 21, I left home and started training full time for the British team. And that's where it really took off because it was that commitment, you know, and success. And however, we're probably going to look at that in this sort of session is what does it really look like? Well, it doesn't come without success. It doesn't come without sacrifice, you know. So for me, leaving home was a massive sacrifice, but it meant I was on this road to commitment. It doesn't always mean when you're committed and you make these sacrifices that you're going to be successful. So along this journey, I ended up reserved for the Commonwealth Games in 94. I was reserved for the Olympics in 1996. And they were some really low points of my life. But I think that's essential. And I think lots of people will be having those feelings right now in the situation we're in, whether you're a parent and you're locked down with your kids. I've got 2 kids just like you, Kieran. My little boy Dexter's 2.5, and I've got a 4-month-old little girl called Bobby. So that's a challenge.
Yes.
And it is really stressful and it's really tough. But I honestly believe that if we don't go through these challenges in life, how can we experience greatness? How can we have that feeling of being really successful? So for me, my little boy this morning actually used the potty, you know, and that was brilliant, because actually that's been a real challenge, chasing him around with a full nappy and him going, I don't want to take my nappy off, and every parent will know this, you know, and you're thinking, let me take it, and he's kicking and screaming. So I left the house today absolutely buzzing. My little boy sat on the potty, did a number 2, and I'm like, yeah, you know, and that feels just as good for me as being successful in my gymnastics. So all them failures, whether it's getting your kids on the potty or failing in the gymnastics hall, are the ones that lead to being successful. So after all that failure, I went to the Commonwealth Games in 1998. I was so lucky to captain the England men's team to their first team gold medal. 2 years later was the Sydney Olympics. Yet again, without setbacks. I broke this hand, my left hand, in 2 places before the games. Didn't think I was going to go. Ended up in Sydney to represent Great Britain. And to me, being the only person representing 65 million people is unbelievable. You know, for me, that was the pinnacle. 2 years later, I came back. After that, went to Manchester and captained England to their second gold medal. And then I thought, that's enough. I can't get any luckier than that. So I retired from my gymnastic career at 29, having done more than I ever imagined possible.
Awesome. That's a quick insight in literally 5 minutes, Craig, and you can tell you're absolutely spot on and used to talking, and you're probably the most confident and outspoken person we've had out of everybody so far. And I knew that. We were discussing in the office the other day, and we said, this Craig's going to be awesome. We can't wait. I've got some footage to share with people where you was in the Olympics later. You were on the bar and things like that. The footage wasn't the best because they were using the old school cameras back in them days.
I know. Yeah, but at least it wasn't black and white cine film, because you're right. It was all on video recorders, and the young people of today, I mean, they're all about this, aren't they? You know, yes. But I think our generation remember the old VHS or Betamax. I remember my first European Championships. I was a junior, and my coach came, and he had one of them video cameras, which I could only describe, looked like a rocket launcher. You know what I mean? It was ginormous. And the battery packs, you know, would only get... Now you can record like loads of stuff up here. So, yeah, if you go back into the archives, you can get some footage.
So hold on a minute. Let me just see if I can get my technology just to quickly...
Go on, then.
We have got time. So let me just see if this, if everyone can see this. You can see this, can't you, Craig? Yes.
I can just about pick that out. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get a good picture of this. I'll make it bigger as well, just so everybody can see it. And I'm going to press play, and hopefully you can see you on the bar here. So
yeah, go on then. Let's have a look.
Let me see if I can press play. Technology.
I'm about same with you, right? So this is in the all-round final. And as a gymnast, believe it or not, I'm not very good with heights. And certainly this bit here, where I let go of the bar and do that skill, that's called a DEF, DEFF. So the more difficult skills you do, the bigger the bonus. And I think this is what, even though I was scared of this piece of apparatus, it was one that I absolutely loved to perform. There's my dismount, full twisting, double straight. And that was one of my performances at the Olympics. It's really funny, isn't it, how some things in life scare us. you know, whether it's standing up and speaking in your class in front of your teammates. And it's funny you should say, you know, you were talking in the office and Craig's this really confident guy. And lots of people I work with when I'm mentoring would love to be a little bit more confident. And I would say the person I am now is completely different to the person I was in school. You know, I was that kid that was terrified if the teacher would point at me and say, you know what, will you stand up and speak? You know, I'd pick the book up, I'd cover my face, I'd fumble my words, I'd go bright red, I'd be so embarrassed. And actually now, when I'm on stage, if I'm presenting at an awards event, I could have 1,000 people, but I am still that nervous kid inside.
Yes.
But what I realise is, and this is, you know, this self-talk and mindset is so important. You have to say to yourself, what is the worst that could happen? You know, and I've done this before. We don't expect young people to go and stand in front of 1,000 people. You know, it's that journey. And there are them little chunks. So I remember the first presentation I did was probably in front of about half a dozen other athletes, you know, and I was absolutely terrified. But I did it, and I thought, oh, people were smiling, so I must be doing something right. And yes, I got things wrong, and I stumbled some words, but actually, I've delivered my presentation now, which is about an hour, I would say well over 1,000 times. Yes. And this is what life and what I love about the FUNDA values is we're teaching young people to become more confident. Yeah. And what I think, unfortunately, the worst thing about this sort of stuff and social media is it portrays people being super confident human beings, yes, you know, and we have to filter that because they're not. And I always think a lot of this stuff that people posting stuff, they're the ones that have lots of confidence issues. Yes. Because it's a like thing. They pitch themselves up there because they want to be liked. It's because they're not really that confident. Yes. And like you said at the start, we're all about being different. Yeah. And actually, I've not been working much and I've not been on social media that much. And I've quite enjoyed it, yes, because it's quite addictive, you know, and we have this thing about, is it FOMO? Young people have this FOMO, which is a fear of missing out. And this is why young people stop up till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, because they don't want to be the last person to switch off and rock up at school in the morning and go, we've had this conversation and you're not part of it. And then they get left out, you know. But actually, what you're being left out of, and then you get to school, what do you talk about with your friends? Because you go, yeah, I know, because we've been talking about it. The good old days, Kieran, when we went to school and our adults go, you know, you leave school at 3 o'clock. You don't know what your friends have done till you meet them the next day. And they go, oh, I'm gonna go to the football, to Turf Moor tonight with my dad. And you go, right, I'm going to go back to school tomorrow. And they're going to tell you all about it. There's none of that anymore, you know. And I think, as good as it is, we need to start and filter a little bit, and we need to manage our expectations, you know, and stop believing that everybody out there, whether they see me or you and go, these are really confident people. We're not that really confident, you know. We've gained confidence from doing all these little steps. 47 this year. 47, I can't believe it. I'm completely a different person. I know to what I was when I was 7. You know, so we need to tell people, we need to be realistic. You know, I've got friends in the 50s have got really good jobs, but have zero confidence. Yeah. Yes. For them to stand up and do a pitch to people in the office, you know, they go bright red, they come out in blotches, they're absolutely terrified. And I think the more we talk about this, then the more people can accept it and go, yeah, this is normal. I get nervous, but I'm also excited. You know what I mean?
And I know what you mean, Craig. And this is the best show I've had as well, because, in my opinion, I don't have to speak. So it's made this so much better, because all these golden nuggets and this knowledge that's coming from you is awesome. Because I agree with you. I post on social media and people see Coach Kieran, the founder of FUNDA, won this award, that award, and whatever it is, and running this business and with all the staff and reaching out to schools and children. But then I'm still nervous for this show now. So I've been up all morning planning this. I've been preparing. It's an unscripted show, but really I've been thinking, what will Craig like? Will he like this? Will he like that? And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? Craig's only human. We don't care. Let's just get on here. And hopefully that some parents can just take some little golden nuggets from this little bit of a show, whether they watch it back with a cup of coffee later, because we invest in a lot in our children at the minute. And I want you to elaborate a little bit more, Craig, on yourself being a parent and the challenge, because I'm with you. When you mentioned about, because I know when you had your little one and you've got plans moving forward, and we'll share the plans later on, but our children are everything, and we're trying to mold them the way that we want them to be. And so my little boys, they don't listen to me. Give me 30 children, and like yourself, Craig, I've got a picture to show you after doing an handstand in front of hundreds of kids. Put me in front of 30 children on our holiday camps. We've got them eating out of our hand, but our own children.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the challenge within itself.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And I think I'm going to save you a little bit as well here, Kieran, because I'm going to check your missus, because at the start you went, I won't be able to do this without my boys. And I know for a fact that your wife is the backbone to what you do. Yes. You know, for me, if I didn't have my Emma at home looking out for me, then none of this is possible. And I think you're right. Your life changes when you have children, because it goes from being about you and to be about them. And you just want what's the best for them. But it's really difficult, isn't it? Because I guess what we always say is, my parents would say, you know, we had so much of a struggle, we don't want you to struggle the same. But actually, there's nothing wrong with struggle. And that's the thing that I'm really struggling with as a parent at the moment is, you know, we were on about treats and rewards and trying this, you know, and I'll say to Dexter, you know, if he's misbehaving, I'm lucky. I bring him to this place here to run around. We're on his own. He's got trampoline, sponge pits. And what does he want to do? He wants to go home, or he'll misbehave. And I'll say, if you don't behave, son, I'm going to put you in the car. And he'll go, I want to go in the car. And you go, all right, well, if I'm going to take you home from the park, I want to go home. And you go, you know. But this is the thing about having kids and having children, is the fact that they're not a computer. You can't program them, you know. And they, as much as, you know, you'll tear your hair out with it, it's the good stuff around it, you know, and the bit that they'll put your arms around you and go, I love you, Daddy, or you're my best friend. Yes. You know, and you think that is absolute golden. That's better than any medal I've ever got. And I always say, well, I ain't going to tell anybody how to be a parent. That's come from one of my friends who lives back in Burnley, next door to my mum. He said, but all you can do is you can do your best. Mm-hmm. But I also think you need to be consistent. Yep. You know, we're all the same human beings, human characteristics and the way we work. We need consistency. We need rules. We need boundaries. We need targets. You know, I think human beings, we're very goal driven. We need a purpose in life. So I think probably lots of parents are struggling at the moment, if they've got young children, they're off work, is that purpose. We need routine. You know, and I speak to some of the parents of the young gymnasts I used to coach, you know, and a lot of young people are stopping in bed till lunchtime because they're up late at night Xbox. I think what you've got to try and do is we've got to try and keep an eye on that. You've got to monitor it. You know, why should that schedule go out the window? You know, it might be tough. Turn the Xbox off. It's no good sleeping, you know, going to bed at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and sleeping till lunchtime, you know. Yeah, I think you have a duty there. You know, you have your breakfast time. You've got to get up. We're allowed to get out now. You know, we need to go for a walk, you know, and there's a bit of bribery with children, isn't there? Saying, you know, well, if you do this, you can have that. Well, you know, we're going to go out every morning for a family walk. We're going to go under this. That's before breakfast or after breakfast. We're going to go under this, you know, and start exploring the outdoors. Because actually, that leads to our exciting project later on we're going to talk about. And then come back in and give your children some structure and show your routine. Because otherwise, they're going to really struggle when schools go back to normal.
Yes. Yeah.
And then all this will affect their mental health and their well-being. So I'm not going to tell people how to parent, but I do think we need structure. I need structure in my life. I come to the gym every morning and work here. We were talking earlier before the show. What have you been doing? I've been painting. I've been building stuff. You know, people are saying to me, "Why are you doing that? You might not ever open again." Well, we might not ever open again, but I'm an optimist. I believe we will open, and there will be challenges, but we'll look at those challenges head on and devise ways around it. And if we don't open again, well, it's helped me. I haven't spent so much money here. A lot of it's been labour. So I come here in the morning, you know, I have my time away from the children. You know, I clear my head. I get thinking, yes, I'm excited to do something. Even, I'm going to show you those wall balls over there. We're talking about it. I picked them up from a club in Stockport the other day. All social distancing, by the way. And I took them all apart. I've put them back together. I've refurbed them. And now they're on the wall. And what excites me is some little child is going to come to this gym and climb those wall bars, because I've got a brand new set over there and they love climbing. And I think that's really important, because I challenge people in this safe environment to explore the body.
About this gym, because we are, you have literally set up a gym from scratch for children in the Northeast. It's a massive. I just want you to talk about this gym and this project that you've set up, just to share how inspiring it is and what you've done for kids, really.
Right. Well, I opened this gym this year on the 5th of January, and my daughter was born 5 days later on the 10th of January. And people said to me, "Craig, are you crazy? Why would you have a new business and a baby so close together?" Well, it's simple. This gym has took me 3 years. So you need a plan. You know, for me to get to the Olympics, it took 18 years. Yeah, so we need patience and we need planning. And I looked around, I had to find the right building. I had to get planning permission. I had to get funding. So from when we started, it was a long process. It was an empty warehouse shell. Fortunately, I love a bit of DIY, so I'm pretty hands-on. I met with builders, and I was saying, there's absolutely no way you guys are doing this without me. Even my dad came up and helped. I was here pretty much every day, and the builders came from Hartlepool, which is about an hour away. They got here about 8 o'clock. I was in here before they arrived, and they used to knock off about 3 o'clock and drive back to Hartlepool. Excuse me. I was here until 6 o'clock, 5, 6. I go home, I bath the kids. Well, I only had Dexter then. I'd bath him, put him to bed, and I'd come back. And I'd work here till after midnight. And one of the guys at the builder said, "Wow, who's been in overnight? Have you had a team of builders?" And I'll go, "No, it was just me." And they're like, "What? You built all these walls and you've done this?" And he said, one day he came in, he said, "Now I know why you went to the Olympic Games." Mm-hmm. And for me, that was the biggest compliment that I've had on this build by the builders, because I think whatever you do in any business, and Kieran, I watch you, you're exactly the same. You're driven. You must lead, I think, by example. That is absolutely key. And I do this with my little boy. You know, a great example of this is he's got a scooter and refused to wear a helmet. Got a bike, refused to wear a helmet. I said, "You're not going on it." I bought myself a scooter, went to the park, and I put my helmet on.
Yeah.
Now we both wear a helmet. Mm-hmm. And these other boys in the park without helmets, and he'll say to me, Daddy, why are those silly boys not wearing a helmet? I said, "Why do we wear a helmet?" He said, "Because it protects our brains." I said, "Exactly. And how many brains have you got?" And he said, "We only have one, Daddy." And it's pretty simple. You know, whether you're leading your children, you're leading an organization, you're leading your staff, you're leading other people, I always think you have to set a good example. And so this gym's open, and for me, we're a community project, so it means we're not for profit. I've got to give a big shout out to Sport England. I wrote the bid. They give us £150,000 for this project. I've got a loan. I'll be honest on this. I've got another loan for 150,000, and I also put £75,000 of my life savings into this project. Yeah. Brilliant. And my staff see me. I don't take a salary because as anybody who knows that sets up with a new business, it's very difficult. Until you make money, you can't pay yourself. So all my staff get paid. I don't take a penny. And it was in the business plan that as soon as we started taking money, then I would get paid. So we things are a little bit tight at the minute at home because my wife's on maternity. I'm not doing my other business because I'm a speaker. I can't go out and do that. So last month I took a little bit of money from the business for all the work I've done. This month the accountant said, "Craig, where's your hours?" I said, "I'm not taking any money this month." "Well, why not?" I said, "Because I bought them wall bars and I bought those second-hand crash mats." And I said, I've got to save that money. So I'm not going to take anything now until we get open. I said, I've my staff to pay. Yes, we furloughed some of the staff, but if we come back, I might not be able to get that money. So for me, it's really keen and really crucial that my staff see me. I'm investing in them so that they can put food on the table, that they can pay the mortgage. I'm the last person to take out the pot. And I think if people see that, then they're going to buy in. People have got to buy in to this project to see, I say to them, our customers, "What do you want?" And they'll say, "Well, we want more handrails up into the coffee shop." Great. I've put 2 on. "We want more crash mats to make it safer. We want this." Great. We put a lift in because we've got disability use. And I'm working with a lovely girl called Kate Stanforth. And she's a disabled dancer. And what's really cool about her is she's a trailblazer, Kieran. She's like you and me. She's the first disabled model to model for Asda clothing. Wow. And she came to me and said, "Craig, I love the fact that you've got a lift. You don't just talk about being accessible. You are accessible. I can get onto the podium. We've got a podium here. I'm going to turn this around. If you can see, and that's where the kids can go and jump in the sponge pits down that end. But if you look in that corner, let's see if we can see that. I've got a lift. I'm no good with this. So I've got a lift over there. So it means that if you've got a disability and you come to my gym, there's not a place you can't go with your children.
It's fantastic.
Why should you miss out as a parent getting over to the sponge pit and go, way, So my next project is to turn my studio into a disabled dance studio. So it's saying, we're going to make money. Where do you want it? You've got to listen. You've got to listen, Kieran. And you know that you've got to listen to your customers and you've got to listen to your staff. Yes. That's key. And listen to your children.
Yeah, and even after 15 years, Craig, where you mentioned about investing, not taking a wage, I know that from the bottom of my heart, even myself included, and my team will back me up, that pretty much you invest everything back into build and invest it back into the kids so that it's all about sustainability. So, and I know why you've probably, if we turn the clock back, why you've built this gym, because I've been writing down your questions. You grew up on a farm. And not many children have access. Where you are at the minute in the northeast, not many children have access to the farm. They don't have access to the local. They don't have a big back garden. They don't have a big, massive tree house in the garden. And most children, like we were, boys, are active learners. They were destructive in class. They were distracted in class. They tried their best in class, but they struggled academically. And most boys, and especially boys, are active learners. I know girls are as well, but we're practical. It goes back to the hunting and gathering age. We used to go hunting for our food, gather it back and bring it back. So we're very practical. So I can understand why you've done this gym, and it's absolutely awesome. And to invest that much in Craig, I take my hat off. And I know we've got some exciting plans coming up. But as we move on now, let's. I've got a few things here to share with people. So before we go on to tips and stuff for parents and whatnot, what I want to do is I just want to share my screen because I've got here yourself here. So what I've got is you with your medals. So let me take this. I like the haircut as well. I know that.
Look at it at the minute. It's a lockdown. It's a lockdown look, mate.
Awesome. So you got what's it like to win medals like this? And when you're at that pinnacle and you look back and you sleep at night, you can show your kids that you've achieved greatness as a role model, and other kids that are watching this and other schools that watch this back, because there will be schools that watch it. What's it like, Craig?
Well, to be honest, it all happens really quick because you spend so much of your time committed to whatever it is you want to do. You know, I think I became British champion when I was 18, but I'd been doing gymnastics for nearly 10 years then. So, you know, it's hard to try and quantify that amount of effort for that moment. And I think you may realize why you do it. And it is a very selfish thing. I think if you put yourself down this journey and you look at why you do it, and I think lots of people do it for others, and they tend to do it for the wrong reasons. So, you know, why do you want to become a professional athlete? Why do you want to become a footballer? You know, and I've worked with footballers over the past on apprenticeship schemes, you know, and I've done a lot of work with young people, and they go, yeah, because I want to be famous. All right. Well, what's that going to get you? I want to have loads of money. I want to live in a big house, loads of, you know, nice cars and stuff. Great. But what is it? What is it about that? You know, and actually, is it just that contentment that people strive for, of knowing that you've done something and you can step back?
Yeah.
And I think this is why I'm definitely a practical person. I like the bit about, you know, you look at people. I think you're either practical or you're academic. That's what I say to people. I am an active learner, definitely. And I don't think people have, you know, this attention deficit disorder. It's just, they're just not interested. Yep. You know, and if you can grab people's attention, you'll work hard at anything. And that's the key. And that's a really difficult bit about learning. You know, what is it that made me keep going back to the gym day after day after day? Where did that come from? And last week I went back to Burnley to pick up the van to get this kit. All social distance, by the way. I can't do that, not from home. And I posted this thing on Facebook from my dad's farm. I went down there and I went for some wood. He said, oh, yeah, I've got loads of wood out the back. Go and have a look. And I pulled this wood off and I saw a nest. And there was like 5 baby little birds all went like that. And I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. And actually, lots of people don't see that. And this is where we take a lot of things for granted. We always want more, don't we? And actually, I always say to my wife, now we're in lockdown. Yes, but we've got a garden. We can now go to the park. You know, we've got all these things. Yes, it could be better. I look at people and I said, yeah, we could be famous and we could live in a massive mansion and we could have 27 acres to run around in, but it could be worse. We could be living in a block of flats and you could be on your own with 2, not 3 screaming kids at you. I said, that's tough. You know, when our parents and grandparents went through the war and the Blitz, I said, we've not got planes flying over our heads and bombing us thinking, are we going to survive tonight? You know, we've got to get this in perspective. We will get through this, you know. And so, but actually, if you're in that block of flats, you can get out. Now, you can get out and go and walk around, you know. And I saw these little birds and thinking, wow, I can see this. And then I looked around at the farm and people were going, wow, I wish I had a farm. When I was a child, I remember thinking, wow, this is really hard work. And there were some days I absolutely hated it, you know. And I think if we talk about mental health problems, looking back then, as good as it was, I probably suffered a few because I'm thinking, I felt trapped. I had all this work and expectation. But now when I look back, it was that hard work that made me into the hard-working person I am now. And if you go and study anybody, any generation that's been really successful, it's generally from parenting that have had really tough lives.
Yep, that's
And,
right.
and the children watch the young people working hard, and they go, actually, yeah. So my parents worked extremely hard on the farm, and I'm thinking, you never take me anywhere. You know, they're always working. But actually, it's watching them, believe it or not, I believe, that got me to an Olympic Games. It's watching them that made me turn this gym from nothing into a success. And I think that's really key, you know, that we watch that and don't be scared of hard work, you know, and getting out there for me and just seeing these little birdies at my dad's reminds me of my children. And when you look at yours, they've got the world ahead of them. They've got the world at their feet. So what can we do? We've just got to protect them. We've got to give them love, you know. And what I did with these birds was I wanted the wood, but I covered them back up. You know, I thought I want the mummy bird, whoever it is, to come back and look after him. You know.
Yeah.
And the next time I was at a little peep, and they're still there, safe and sound.
Safe
You know?
and sound, Craig. That's awesome. So these little stories will really connect with our parents watching back, and hopefully will. So you've been on TV, you've been on the Tumble Show, which was a great experience. I love watching that. You've met some great people along the way. What's it like being on TV? Did you enjoy it? What feedback would you give children? Struggles?
Well, I must admit, the first time I was on TV, even though I was used to speaking, I was absolutely terrified. And I still get nervous now, you know. But I think for me, Tumble was a massive point in my life. Why? Because I questioned myself. There was some pretty spectacular people. If you look at that photograph there, I mean, stood next to me is Nadia Comaneci. A lot of the young viewers will probably not know who she is, but parents and grandparents were. I mean, she was the first person in gymnastic history to score the perfect 10. I mean, you go anywhere, and if you're in Romania and you say Nadia Comaneci, she's like a queen. You know, she's a god. She's in the history books. Lewis Smith, he was our first male gymnast to win an Olympic medal in something like 73 years. Then on the end, you have a guy called Sebastian Steller. He's performed with Britney Spears, Katy Perry, Pink. He's travelled the world for Cirque du Soleil. And then some random bloke from Burnley, you know. Yeah. And I guess this goes back to never give up. So how I got on the show was I got invited to go to an audition. I've been retired from gymnastics for quite a while. And I just thought, you know what? There's no way, you know, I can perform like I used to. So I said to the producer over the telephone, look, I'm a bit out of shape. I'd like to be a judge. And they said to me, Craig, forget it. And I said, who have you got? They'll not be as good as me. And he said, well, actually, we've got these three people. And he named them. And I thought, yeah, they're pretty decent. To be fair, they are better than me. So they said, but if you come for an audition, you might be able to partner one of the celebrities.
Yes.
Now, an option, Amta. And this is for lots of people. Do I A, go? Do I B, stop at home? And I thought, I'll go. So I get the train to London from Newcastle. It took me about 3 hours. I remember going into the gym. It was similar to this. It was Heathrow Gymnastic Club. And I remember going in. You could hear the aeroplanes over the top flying in. And I was absolutely terrified. I don't mind admitting. And I walked in, and it didn't help the fact that these were all current gymnasts that had just competed at the Commonwealth Games. And they were brilliant. Much better than I was on that day. So I remember looking around and I'm thinking, what have I done? However, I believe in every part of your life, there's an opportunity. And at this moment in time, there was an opportunity to sell myself to these producers. So they give me a little number, put it on my T-shirt, and they said, right, Craig, you are going to partner this girl here. So I introduced herself and she said, Craig, I'm really nervous. You've been to the Olympics? I said, look, don't worry. I said, I went to the Olympics 14 years ago. I said, my grandma can do gymnastics better than me now. So I said, I'm going to say to you, go easy on me. And she said, oh, Craig, I feel so much better. So they said to me, they said, right, you and I can't even remember this girl's name, and that's really bad. I must apologize. But you can warm up. And everybody's running round and warming up, and I'm sat down. And the producer come over and said, Craig, are you injured? Do you need a physio? Is there a reason you're not warming up? I said, well, the problem is, I said, when you get to my age, by the time you've warmed up, you've worn yourself out. So I said, I'm keeping me warm up to a minimum. So I just did a little warm up. And they said, right, Craig, on the floor now, what I want you to do is your biggest trick, right? And I'd seen all these other gymnasts doing double somersaults and all that, and I'm thinking, I'm going to look terrible. And I could see everybody else, and this is pressure from others. And what I love about your stuff, Kieran, at FUNDA is be the best that you can be. Stop competing with everybody else. And I ran across the floor. I did the worst cartwheel ever, and I went, ta-da! In front of the camera, and it was like a silence, right? And what I realized back then is what I'm good at.
Yes.
I was no good that day at gymnastics, but what I've got is the skill set to stand in front of a camera and sell myself. So I finished the audition. On Monday morning, I got a phone call. Craig, we're only having 3 people in the show. However, we love your personality and we're going to try and make it so you're another judge. I had to wait till Friday. They phoned me and said, Craig, you're in.
Wow.
Now, if I hadn't took that opportunity to get on the train to London to sell myself, I wouldn't have got on the show. Does it work every time? No, it doesn't. Yeah. I've been to loads of auditions and I've got the yeah. But unless you turn up, you're not in the game.
Yes, that's it. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're waiting for somebody to turn up to your house and knock on the door and say, Kieran, I'm going to change your life, the chances are it will never happen. You'll be waiting a long time. Yeah. It takes confidence. Get out there. So when I got on the show, I questioned myself, what am I doing here? I'm not an Olympic medalist. I'm not Nadia Comaneci. I'm not Lewis Smith. I'm not Seb Stella. And I was terrified. But what I realized was, as we went into the shows, I absolutely loved it. The first show, if I could have got out the window in the studio in my little room, I'd have probably climbed out the window and gone on the train back to Burnley and said, that's not for me. Yeah.
And what about this year at the Olympics as well? You commentated as well, so another opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same thing. Unfortunately, one of the great commentators of our time in gymnastics, Mitch Fenner, he passed away, and that left opportunity for me to step up to the mark. And I had lots of people messaging going, we miss Mitch, and as human as we are, it's in the back of your mind, and I felt that pressure thinking, oh my God, I've got to be the next Mitch Fenner. But what I realized is through my life is, I'm not Lewis Smith. I'm not Max Whitlock. I'm not Mitch Fenner. I'm Craig Heap. I am the Heapster, and I'm going to be as good as I can for you.
You was great. I watched
if you do that,
great.
It helps your mental health and well-being. Yeah? If you rock up and don't do your best, then yes, you can question yourself, And what I've learned is my best won't be good enough for everybody. There'll be people that watch this program, Kieran, and it'll probably be the same for you and go, that Craig Heap, he talks a load of nonsense. What a loser.
So
fair
what?
enough. Yeah, but I'm comfortable with that. I'm happy with that. And you can send me that as a message and I'll take it on board. Because what I've learned is I annoy some people. I annoy myself. I annoy my kids. I annoy my wife. I think my mum and dad think I'm annoying at times as well. But I'm okay. because I know whether I'm speaking with you right now and all the FUNDA family, or it's my Tumble family, I'm just doing my best. And I know we're running out of time, but I think this is crucial. This, let me get this. This is my commemorative medal. I'm going to get to the screen.
Let's get it on the big one. Hold on.
Get it on here. Here we go.
Let's find the right screen for this.
There we go. I think we had it then. And I'll move it that way.
There we go.
So, my commemorative medal from the 2000 Olympics. You can see Sydney 2000, and then it has the Roman numerals on the back. Wonder if you can work that out. XXV11. Yeah. So that means I was in the 27th Olympiad. Where did I finish? I was 32nd in those Olympic Games. That is by far my best. I would swap my 14 British titles, my 2 Commonwealth gold medals for that one right there, because I did my best.
Wow.
Yeah? And I think if there's a message I'm going to get out to your parents and your FUNDA family and your children is, you know, run your own race. Yeah. Be the best that you can be. I'm constantly failing, in my life, and we all are, but it doesn't stop me. Keep going. And that's it. You know, there's a saying in it, a great sailor never sailed a smooth sea. Yeah. And we're in rocky waters at the minute. Yeah. Get through it. You're doing fantastic, Kieran. You know, I love the show. You're out there and you just want to give back. And I hope people appreciate that.
Top man, Craig. You're a good man. And just before you go, because I know what you're trying to get out of, Craig, and I know you're rushing off to Dubai on the phone here. 2 seconds.
No worries.
So this is Craig, who also loves to make a difference to children's lives. So he's been goes around all primary schools, inspiring children. And what I want Craig to do now, because I promised all my team when they're connected to him on Zoom, they said, please, 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 will you get Craig to do a handstand in his gym and show us some tricks?
All right, okay. Well, I did say as well, this comes with old age. You know, there's a handstand challenge where you take your t-shirt off and put it on. Since then, I've hurt my wrist. But I had a little practice earlier. I did moan a little bit, Kieran, but I am getting on a bit. All right. But just because it's you, and let's hope with a few people tuned in, I'm going to do you a little bit of a handstand across the floor. Don't know if you can see me over here. Can you see me?
Yeah,
right.
I can see you.
Let's have a look. I'm going to try and see if I can walk across the screen. Here it goes.
Here he goes. Brilliant. Look at that. Yes. Awesome. Awesome, Craig.
As you say, life in the old dog yet. And I guess before we go, I mean, I know we're going to get off at 11, but we have been talking about a new project, haven't we, Kieran? Do you want to maybe share a bit about that? Your plans?
It's early days, but obviously the FUNDA, as everybody knows, we've set up the FUNDA Foundation now, which is a charitable arm. It's not for profit like yourself. And we're focusing on these 4 areas. So physical activity, education, health and inclusion. That's so important for our children. So this year we've been knocked back by COVID, but myself and my team members, especially 1 or 2 team members who know of this in the office, we're aiming at setting up the FUNDA Adventures Childcare in the Great Outdoors one day. And pretty much our goal is to share this with parents out there, is to buy a piece of land, get a log cabin built, and pretty much establish the fully outdoor children's nursery. And just to give people an insight before you go, Craig, I know you haven't seen this.
Let's have a look.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's 2 seconds.
All right. You know what I love about you, Kieran, is you're about as good with computers as I am, mate. In fact, you are better than me, because there's no way I could orchestrate these multiple screens. Yeah. And I don't know why I'm saying that, because I could. I just need to apply myself. So I'll take that back. Yes,
you do. You're right, Craig. It's dead easy. So I'm just going to show you everyone this quick video, because I think it shares the message that what we're all about. So I'll just get the screen up, 2 seconds, and then we can tell everybody what we're thinking before you go. So let me just get this up here now, 2 seconds. I will be able to do this. So there and there and here. So hopefully people can see this.
FUNDA Adventures, childcare in the great outdoors. Fully outdoor open-air forest, moorland and beach nurseries allow children aged 2 to 5 years the opportunity to explore and learn in nature whilst in the great outdoors. FUNDA Adventures will provide an immediate and long-term contribution to children's education, health, character building and future. Children spend most of the time exploring and experiencing the natural world around them through hands-on activities, play-based learning in nature, and the great outdoors. They will develop the confidence and competence to excel at home, school, and life, reaching their full potential and becoming confident, creative little learners ready for school. FUNDA Adventures children will explore the natural habitat. They will become more in harmony with nature, bringing a sense of belonging and contentment. Our teaching and learning is fully compliant with the Early Years Development Matters framework and curriculum. Specially trained teachers will engage, inspire, motivate, and empower all. Children today spend more time sitting and less time doing. In fact, children spend more time inside than prison inmates, and that's such a shame.
So I'm not going to play it all, Craig, but pretty much that is the FUNDA Adventures philosophy and ethos. So we're after getting a piece of land. Hopefully we'll be talking and getting our headquarters there and pretty much just giving back to the community for children who don't get the opportunity to access the great outdoors, who don't get the opportunity to play outside like me and you did, living on a farm, growing up in the countryside. So our aim is to give children that childcare, especially what's going on now in the great outdoors, where they can take risks and just be themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did talk about this last year, and I can't sit still, yes, you're saying, what about the gym? This is a project that I've got up and running here. But one of the things is I'm really passionate to do something back in Burnley, back in Lancashire. And when I was there last week, I've got some allotments, an allotment site, and I've got a building and the things that we're talking about. I've got a girl who came to me called Georgie Mitchell, and she started off doing a little bit of farming, and now she's got 3 children. She's like Wonder Woman. And she set up a farm school, and we trialled it last year, and the response has been absolutely phenomenal. But it's a bit like anything we talk about, success is about a team, and I said to George, you've got some fantastic ideas, but you need a team around you. And to be honest, I've been looking for a long while to get the right partner, and I believe, and I hope we can make it work, that with FUNDA's ethos and your enthusiasm and drive and passion, along with mine and Georgie's skills, we can create something in East Lancashire where actually young children can get educated in a different way. I'm not saying schools are bad, but I just think the education system needs a bit of a shake-up, and we need to prepare these young people for the future, and being resilient is key. And one way we can build this resilience is outdoors. Yeah. Why do you think we're getting all these viruses? Is because we're living in a world with no germs anymore. They talk about farm children are the ones that are most protected because, as my dad says, you need to get a bit of muck under your fingernails, and you need to dig and stuff like that. And young children need to know, actually, if you've grown something, throwing it in the bin is a waste. If you've nurtured something, the chances are you're going to use it a bit more. And there's all that education process. So yes, Kieran, I'm really confident that we're going to make this happen. Yeah.
Good stuff, Craig. And I know you've got another call. I just want to say thanks so much for all your kind words. Thanks for being on the show. And thanks to all our parents watching. If they've got any comments, comment below. We'll get back to them. And I look forward to having that coffee, Craig, in the future and inspire kids even more.
Listen, mate, I've absolutely loved it. And if you've got any questions from this morning and you want to do another follow-up, because you know me, I can talk forever, let's just get in touch with me. I've absolutely loved it. And it's quite nice being in the gym, not just on my own, because I've got all you guys with me today. Yeah, we all need people around us. Yeah, so stay safe, guys. Big respect to you, Kieran. You're an absolute legend.
Stay safe. Hope you're well. Keep up the good work. See you later, Craig. Wow, what a show that was this morning. Absolutely fantastic. So if you've got any questions, please comment below. We've got future plans just to show you that the FUNDA brand is going strong. We're aiming to make a positive difference to lots and lots of children's lives. We're still strong here. Our team's working remotely around the clock to make sure that we're still available after lockdown and during the summer to give our parents our confidence with tighter measures in place, with tighter childcare, quality assured childcare, and following the Public Health England guidelines and Ofsted guidelines. Fingers crossed, we should be running this summer. So I hope that you enjoyed that show this morning, and it means the world for me. So please watch this show back, and I'm sure Craig Heap will answer any questions that you've got. So is there any questions about the live show? We've just had Craig Heap on. He did fantastic. If you've missed it, please watch it back. That'd be awesome. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave the FUNDA Adventures video just showing, just to seed what's coming in the future and what our team's working on. Yes, we're going to get holiday camps and childcare up and running. FUNDA's going to be back for our children to inspire them. But here's what's coming in the future, because it's something I'm passionate about, and myself and my team will be working on this. So I hope you like it. So here goes. I'm just going to share it one last time.
FUNDA Adventures. Childcare in the great outdoors. Fully outdoor open-air forest, moorland and beach nurseries allow children aged 2 to 5 years the opportunity to explore and learn in nature whilst in the great outdoors. FUNDA Adventures will provide an immediate and long-term contribution to